All right, I think we are good to go and go ahead and get this session started. I hope everyone had a nice holiday weekend. We appreciate you taking the time to join us today at the start of this busy week. My name is Megan Howard. I'm the Director of Sales at Shorts Travel Management. I'll be facilitating this exciting session with the release of our new duty care solution, SafeTRAC. We've been hosting these travel talks monthly throughout 2017. They're each focused around different hot topics in the industry. We try to keep them more educational, but some will definitely include details about Shorts products and services as well, as is the genesis of this travel talk today. We always want to keep this informal, so if you have questions throughout, feel free to submit them through the Q&A button in the corner of your screen. I'll try to address them as we go if I can. Interrupt our speakers if I feel like it's relevant, but we definitely will leave about 5 minutes open at the end for a Q&A session so we can get some of those questions answered. We will also follow up with you individually if we have a question that we didn't get to as well. So another thing is we definitely want to encourage feedback from this demo, so jot your notes down and send them to the email address listed on the screen. This docbeta@shortstravel.com. Actually, one of the ways that we're going to incentivize you today is if you do send any of your feedback or recommendations of how you think you can make this tool better, we are going to enter you to win a $25 Amazon gift card, knowing that's perfect timing with all the holiday shopping that you still need to complete. But now that I'm done with all the housekeeping notes, I'm pleased to introduce our guests. That will be, trying to click the next slide. From Shorts Travel Management, that will lead today's session. Joel Delagardelle is a strategic account manager. He's going to start us off with a background of duty of care, an introduction to the developed solution for our client SafeTRAC that is a genesis of our call today, as well as show the first of 3 components that are included in that product suite. And then following him will be Zach Harlan, who is our Director of Information Technology. He's going to do a demo and share some insight into the upcoming features of FindThem that will be released at a later date. So with that, I am going to hand it over to Joel to take it away.
Thanks, Megan. As was previously mentioned in the intro, my name is Joel Delagardelle. I'm an account manager here at Shorts Travel. Upon joining the Shorts team, I was tasked with assisting in the development of our duty of care program, as it's so often referred to in our industry. And one of the first things that I notice is that oftentimes travelers, travel managers, and even travel management companies use the terms duty of care and travel risk management interchangeably, or they only use the term duty of care, but in reality, they're related but different terms. So I wanted to start with some basic definitions so that we have a common understanding of the issue at hand. Duty of care in its most general sense is a legal obligation imposed on an entity requiring reasonable care while performing any acts that could foreseeably harm others. And I know that's quite a mouthful, so in the travel world, duty of care is the moral and legal obligation to take responsibility for the safety and security of our travelers. A comprehensive travel risk management program, then, is the means by which we meet our duty of care obligation. So travel risk management is the course of action that we take to meet or exceed our duty of care obligation. So in other words, if duty of care is the why we're protecting our travelers and travel risk management is the what we are doing to protect our travelers, then Shorts SafeTRAC, or travel risk awareness and communication, is how we're going to do it. And that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. So now that we've established a common understanding of duty of care versus travel risk management, it begs the question, well, why is this important? It's important because there are stakeholders at every level of your organization that stand to either gain or lose from an effective or ineffective travel risk management program. Without a quality solution, your travelers could potentially be at a physical risk, and while we tend to automatically think of the most extreme scenarios such as a terrorist attack, the far more likely scenario is a health emergency or a minor traffic accident experienced by the traveler. But events, both large and small, are disruptors that reduce productivity and increase costs, all of which adds up to significant time, money, and resources that must be invested in an unplanned and likely unorganized response process. While we can never truly eliminate all risk, planning ahead to help control or minimize the risks associated with corporate travel improves traveler safety and effectiveness while reducing overall risk exposure to the enterprise. And now that we understand the need for a quality travel risk management solution, we're going to briefly look at some industry data to help us understand the current state of a typical travel risk management program. In December of 2016, Business Travel News asked 200 travel managers and buyers to assess the current state of their duty of care program. So this is a case where even the experts get it wrong, because based on our previous definitions, this question is asking, what is the status of your obligation to ensure your traveler safety? But as we already identified, the obligation remains more or less the same for all of us. So what should have been asked is, what is the status of your travel risk management program? But nevertheless, you can see the results here. A combined 70% of the respondents either had a program in place that needed refinement or were just planning to implement in 2017, while only 3% of the respondents had a program in place with no changes needed, which tells us that the majority of business travelers need better support when they're traveling on behalf of the company. Upon registration, you were all asked to answer the same question, and we have those results on the next slide, so we'll take a look at those. A combined 61% of our respondents either had a program in place that needs refinement or a complete overhaul, while 17% of the respondents had a program in place with no changes needed. And while our internal results were slightly improved from the industry-wide survey, there's still a need for improved travel risk awareness and communication. The BTN survey results and our internal survey results show that over 50% of companies have a need for a comprehensive travel risk management service offering. So in response, Shorts created an innovative, comprehensive yet flexible solution for our clients. We're calling our solution SafeTRAC, or Travel Risk Awareness and Communication. SafeTRAC consists of three critical components. First is FindThem, which is an automated travel warning notification system sent via IntelliGuide's Go Alert tool, which is an industry-leading third-party partner that we've teamed up with. Second is FindThem, and that's our proprietary interactive map tool used to locate a traveler's current or projected future location based on our PNR database. And Zach is going to demonstrate the FindThem tool shortly. And then third, we have MessageThem, which is a tool that's currently under development, which will allow for immediate mass communication in the form of two-way messaging to confirm your travelers are safe when disaster strikes. And next, I'm going to briefly review FindThem in a little bit more detail. As I mentioned previously, Shorts has partnered with North Star Media Group to automatically disseminate IntelliGuide Go Alert notifications. Many of our existing customers on the call today may have already seen an automated IntelliGuide notification, as we started disseminating these alerts in early October of this year. IntelliGuide notifications are designed to answer one question: how does this event impact the global business traveler? Each news item is assigned an urgency level, ranging from attention, which simply means a traveler should be aware of an upcoming event such as an election or a holiday that could draw large crowds, to a large-scale emergency, which is a catastrophic event that poses significant widespread danger or disruption. And stories that have an impact on travel specifically will be designated an STI, or significant travel impact. The alerts are also sorted by categories. These categories are health, safety and security, transportation, and weather and nature. All of these alert filters are completely customizable for each recipient. You may only want to receive, for example, warnings and emergencies related to weather and transportation and designated significant travel impact. In the example on your screen from Hurricane Irma, this is a warning related to transportation due to weather and nature and designated an STI. Travel events do often escalate from attention to caution to warning, and finally emergency, as we get more details of that particular event. IntelliGuide users also have the ability to pull up-to-date destination reports prior to employee travel. IntelliGuide destination reports are comprehensive reports that extend past the country level and allow research down to the state or regional level within a given country. These reports include an executive summary, overall risk level on a graded scale from 1 to 10, and they also include key risk factors related to security, economics, and political issues. The reports include international and social etiquette standards, communication norms, and health infrastructure and transportation guidance, and that really just skims the surface. The reports are a great tool to holistically educate your travelers pre-trip, and we're really excited to provide this tool as a means to inform your travelers and improve the overall travel experience. If you have any questions about IntelliGuide notifications or destination reports, please contact your account manager. And next, Zach is going to review the second component of SafeTRAC, which is FindThem. And also, at the conclusion of this travel talk, the basic version of FindThem will be turned on for all of our existing accounts. Future premium versions of FindThem will include enhanced features such as real-time GPS tracking, and you can access FindThem on your Shorts travel portal. And Zach, I'll turn it over to you for the live demo.
All right, thank you, sir. A lot of information, good stuff. All right, so as Joel mentioned, this is what it'll look like. It'll just have a little FindThem link here. So this is the existing Where Are My Travelers. Just click on this link. It'll open up in a new window. This is for the Shorts Travel. As a company, this is kind of what we're looking at. This is the tool called FindThem. So we have a group of beta testers that we've been soliciting feedback on as we're developing a lot of these features. So we're trying to really base this around specific use cases. One of those use cases is the ability to know where someone is immediately, like right this second, where are people? And then also, I want to be able to look into the future or into the past for where people are where people are going to be or where they have been. So one of the kind of neat side effects of this is you can search for a whole year if you wanted to on just one person, and you can see, okay, here's my trip history report. Here's all the places that I've been over the course of this last year. A more practical use for it would be, hey, the hurricanes that we had, make sure that you don't have anybody that's looking to go to Florida the day after a hurricane, that kind of stuff. So there's the date range that you can use. The now version, the now mode, search mode, this is just absolutely everything that's happening right today. So what we've done is when we have clusters of people, we'll give you a little bubble, and that just represents a group of people rather than squishing a bunch of pins in there. We just kind of, we cluster them. Then the other ones we have some pins for with people's initials, and those are all representing people that are currently away from home. They are traveling somewhere. And then we also have the case where we want to know if somebody is currently in the air flying. So we note that with a green pen and a Indiana Jones style travel line. So I booked a fictitious trip for the purposes of this demo. So it shows that I'm leaving from Cedar Rapids to Detroit, and then from Detroit to Denver. So you can tell based on the time that I should be flying in the air. So, and then when this gets updated, like when I get my connection, it'll show me going from Detroit to Denver. So there's that. So you can click on any pen and you can get the full itinerary information that you want. Also, there's this grid down here that will that's movable, but it'll show you people's information, phone number information. When you're on a mobile device, it'll give you the option to either send a text message or to just call them directly. That's kind of the light version of the message them product, but you get all that for free with the basic version. So it knows whether you're on mobile or if you're on desktop, and it kind of caters to how you want to communicate with these people. Another way of communicating is you have these checkboxes over here. So when you click an email, it'll open up your email account and populate an email with all of the email addresses for the people that are currently in view. So that's another thing. You can always pinch and zoom to find, to narrow down where you're looking at. So, or you can actually click on the bubble too, and then this will give you more information there. Another feature that we have is kind of a Google style search that it's a context in specific search, which basically just means that if you type in Dallas, it's going to search for anybody that happens to be flying through Dallas, Texas. or someone whose, first name is Dallas, they'll show up as well. But we did a little bit more from that perspective. So if we want to see everybody in Iowa, we can either type the word Iowa, or we can type just IA. You can search for, maybe in the event that a hotel chain is having a strike, you want to know everybody that's in a hotel chain that may be having a strike. You can search by the hotel name. You can search by PNR. You can search by blood type. No, you can't search by blood type, but we could if we had that information. So point being, it's a very powerful tool. You can search for just about anything you can think of. And then you can also download this information. You can click this and it'll give you a CSV of everything that you're currently looking at. So you can, it'll give you all the phone numbers, email address, all that kind of stuff if you want to go ahead and reach out to them. So,
Zach, we had a question that came in.
Okay.
Is FindThem based on reservation itinerary information? So for example, if someone missed their flight, would the system still show them as in the state where they should have been rather than at home?
It's updated every 15 minutes. So if somebody misses their flight and then they get rebooked within 15 minutes, then this will be accurate. We basically take the data from the same place that we're getting the Where Are My Travelers data and syncing it in another database, and that's what this pulls from. So yeah, if somebody rebooks a flight or misses a flight and then rebooks it a couple hours later, then it'll show up here. It'll be accurate to within 15 minutes.
So it has to be rebooked through Shorts Travel.
Correct. Yep. This is only looking at Shorts Travel information. This is not connected directly to Delta or American or anything like that yet.
And that question could tie into the additional features with the GPS tracking as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the way we design this is kind of a layered approach. So this is one layer of data. In the future, we're going to add in GPS level information, so you can send them find a specific user, say, hey, I want to see your location, and they click on a link, and then it shares your location. Well, that's another layer of data that we can just overlay on top of this map. Another level of data is going to be the IntelliGuide alerting data. So if there's a earthquake in Mexico, it'll show all of the affected areas with the severity around that as well. So so that's just another data layer. So if somebody does miss their flight and they say, hey, I'm at the Delta counter and they rebooked me for whatever reason, I didn't book it through Shorts, the travel manager can say, hey, send me your current location, or hey, I want to give you a call quick, or send me your new flight numbers or something like that, and then they're going to be able to tell where they're at. So, but as far as like the GPS information, yeah, you would be able to just send them a link and they click on it, and then that data would be present in this tool. Kind of a long-winded answer, sorry.
We have another question. Is this just show the United States, or does it show locations globally as well?
This shows locations globally. So here's another, this is kind of test data, but this is what an example of what it would look like when there's a lot of travelers at one point. Yeah, there's a lot of Indiana Jones lines there. I got to think of a better way of describing that. But those travel lines, yeah, it goes anywhere. It's just based on the data that we send in. So, good questions.
I have another one for you. What does that email button do?
Oh, so if you click the email, I'm only sharing my current window. What it's doing is when I click that email, you can see that there's 13 travelers in the lower left-hand corner. When I click this email, it's going to give me all the email addresses for all of those travelers. It's going to pre-populate it in an email with your Outlook or Lotus Notes, I guess. And it'll put a subject line of it of FindThem, and it's just a shortcut to say, here's the people that I'm targeting, here's the people I want to reach out to, like right this second, and it builds the email for you. And then you can type in your message and then just click send. Does that answer your question?
Can I actually add on to that? So if you had 13 viewers on the screen, but you didn't need to contact all 13, you could select the checkbox to the left to control your recipient list, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. So if I only want to hit these guys, there's 3 people here, and I only want to send it to myself and someone else, you click the email, and it'll only give you the email addresses associated with those travelers. So this is kind of a select all functionality or select none. So the email is based off that. Yep, good call. You know this tool better than I do. Any other questions?
And what were some of the, you touched upon it briefly, but what are some of the components of FindThem that you and your team are developing for the future components of FindThem, or not FindThem, of SafeTRAC?
Yep. Yeah, so MessageThem is going to be an integrated communications platform. So the reason that's going to be important is if you have more than one person trying to get a hold of one person specifically, like if Joel and I are both trying to get a hold of you, Megan, and Joel is my boss, I reach out to you. He wants to know, hey, have I reached out to Megan yet? He can log in and see the complete communication history associated with that traveler, all within the tool. Another component of the messaging part is going to be able to communicate with specific groups of people. So in the larger programs, you can say, hey, here's this specific team, and I want to be able to do location sharing and messaging within this group of people that all happen to be traveling for this specific reason. All of that stuff would all be kind of baked into the tool. So you don't need to have Outlook or anything like that. The other interesting thing, because of the way that we're layering the data, you're going to be able to cross-reference, here's the travel disruption events with, here are the people that were there at that time, you know, even in the future, because of the range functionality, and here's who contacted them and how they and what they said, all that kind of stuff. Also, which I think that's a pretty compelling use case. Another thing that we're going to do is within these groups, MessageThem is going to be, hey, you'll turn the pin color a specific color based on if they've responded to your question, or if they've said, you know, maybe there's times where you just want to say, you know what, give me your location because I can't get a phone call through to you. We've seen that happen. The cell phones just won't work to do phone calls, but they will accept text messages. So you could say, send them a text message, click on a link, share my location, great. But you could also send that and say, you know what, I've tried to reach out to this person 3 times and they have not got back to me. You know, we need to take this a little bit further. So it because of all the way that the data is layered, you can draw those kind of references. So that's kind of the lion's share of the stuff with the MessageThem stuff that's coming down the pipe. Any other questions?
No, I think, oh, actually we have one more that came in. So for a program that would have hundreds of travelers at one time, it seems like the map view would get way too busy by showing each traveler with a balloon. Because it appears that the balloons are initials for each traveler. So yeah, I think maybe showing again.
Yeah, this is another a client that is really busy. There's 662 travelers. Currently, the red lines are the ones that are currently in flight, but for that very reason of all those pins. So our version 1, we put a pin everywhere, and then what we ended up with was this huge flower-looking thing that was completely unusable. So then we started to do this clustering thing. So this cluster, this gray circle, means that there's 72 humans in that location. So that's how we kind of answered that from a UI perspective.
Okay, and then one more. We mentioned that you could email, but we can also communicate via text message as well with the travelers.
Correct. When you bring this up on your phone, we used responsive design, so it will give you the option to say, hey, I want to send an SMS or a text message to this specific person, or I want to call this person directly. Or if you're on a Mac and you want to call somebody, I can just say, click the phone number, and it'll say, do you want to open up FaceTime and make a call, something like that. So yeah, you can communicate. The catch of, and this is why I kind of call this communication or Messenger Lite, is because the communications are going through your Outlook account and your phone and your text message and that kind of stuff. So in that scenario earlier, Joel can't tell if I've communicated with Megan or not, because all the communication is housed on my devices that I'm using to communicate. The message them, the full blown message them, is going to have all that history layered right in with itinerary information.
And that's the features that are to be developed.
Yep. That's the stuff we have on our roadmap.
Okay. One more question for you. Look, you're really doing a good job with this. So how would it work for multiple travel arrangers to be logged into this and viewing and texting all the travelers? So I think you started to answer that, and that's more of the premium version as we develop Message Them.
Yeah, the Message Them, that's what's going to really help. That's the more robust messaging part of it. That's going to be able to track the history by travel manager, travel arranger, of who's contacting who, what do they say, and all that kind of stuff. That would be layered right in with the itinerary information.
So right now, multiple people can access if you have multiple travel arrangers responsible for different people, but it doesn't talk to each other yet.
Correct. One other thing I wanted to mention is this is hierarchy based. So the way that you have the hierarchy set up with Shorts Travel. So like, for example, if I don't have any direct reports and I go to this webpage, I'm only going to see my travel information. I'm not going to see everybody. So it does respect the hierarchy for the data the same way that the rest of the portal, TravelMate, does. But yeah, this is a responsive design web application, so as many people that you want can use it at the same time. There's not going to be conflicts or anything with that. Hopefully that answered your question. Oh, I think we might have one more question. Will this also interface with Concur, or do we have to be on STO? Nope, this will work with either one. It also works with Sabre. So, okay, and then there's another one. Is there a way to add in travelers who are not currently traveling, i.e. at the home office, so they can be contact for an issue arising near that location? Great question. Currently, today, there is not, but that is a very interesting use case. So I guess what I'm hearing is like, okay, if somebody is working from their home office and there's in Kansas and there happens to be a tornado in that area, you want to be able to see them on a map. Those are things where it's like, all that stuff is easy to build. We have this set up so it's very modular. That type of functionality, yeah, we could easily build that in. That's not a big deal at all. That's a use case I hadn't thought of, so that's good.
Okay, thanks, Zach. I'm glad to see that we had all those questions come in, and feel free to reach out to the DOC beta at shortstravel.com to add any more insight or thoughts as you start utilizing this. As Joel mentioned, it will be released to current clients through their portal, and we'll be sending more communication through your account manager, as well as new features are released, we'll be sharing that information as well. So we appreciate your time today, and definitely contact your account manager, or feel free to reach out to that email address if you have any other questions. So thank you again to Zach and Joel for leading our session, and be on the lookout for another travel talk as we continue with this series, because we really have seen a lot of positive feedback, and we love the interaction with our clients and prospective clients. So have a great afternoon, and we will talk to you next time. Thank you.